Well, as you know, the garden's suffering terribly with the drought, but I wanted to show you some of the lovely things that are happening. I originally thought this was wild carrot, but I don't think it is wild carrot now. I think it's Ammi majors, and it's a dwarf Ammi majors, and the reason it's dwarf is I disturbed this pot here. I spotted some plants dying and realised that there was an insect in there. It's the little grub that you get in there. So I took those out, and in the process of finding those grubs, I disturbed some seeds, and these came up. And as I say, I thought, oh gosh, I've disturbed some wild carrot seeds, and they've been growing away nicely, but they're only about a foot tall at the most, but they're very attractive to these little hoverflies. These are minute little hoverflies. I hope the camera's picking them up. It's hard to tell because it's very sunny in this spot. So this has been a success. They're all busy flying around these little flowers and landing on them. They're lovely umbilicus. So that's a great thing. And I thought I'd show you how well my tomatoes are doing. I did take a lot off last night, and they're doing really well. These are Gardener's Delight. There's just 2 trusses. I didn't get any more than I could cope with, and yeah, they're doing really, really well. So obviously I'm watering those once a week, and feeding them. But so the tomatoes have absolutely loved this weather at the moment. Then as we go over to the fence now, the fence is on we're looking towards the east, so it's a bit bright, so I'll have to be careful how I do that. But these are my wild seeds I've got going. It's just a mixture of wild seeds. I just sprinkled some that I find in there. I'll just put them out as plugs when they eventually come up. And there's a little bit of foxglove there. I need to reseed this because this is foxglove, but only one seems to have come up. That one's struggling there. And yeah, I'm going to go to an angle where I can film the fence. This is my, it's called sweet pea, obviously, and it comes back every year. And I just can't believe how much that's flowered this year. This has been in flower since, I'll have to look back on my videos, but to my knowledge it's been in flower since the beginning of July easily, and the bees absolutely love it, and some of the butterflies manage to feed on it too, and it's just stunning. And it's not been watered. It's an everlasting sweet pea, and it just gives and gives. I've got an everlasting sweet pea in a pot, so I need to bring it down here, I think, and plant it down here so that it succeeds a lot better than it's succeeding in a pot, or at least find a sunny spot that I can put it into. I'll just film the sparrows a bit. Every morning I come out, there's a little dish on the wall. I fill it with water and add dried mealworms, and the sparrows are just loving them. They literally do sit on the wall waiting for me now. They're so used to me coming out and doing it. So that's wonderful. They feed away well on there. I mean, sparrows usually feed live insects to their young, but I think they're enjoying them themselves now. There's no one feeding any others, so that's a real treat. Plant that's been doing so well is this fuchsia. This has been flowering even longer than the sweet pea. Let's go up to that one there, look, against the blue sky. It's always alive with bees, but at the moment it's absolutely thriving. The honeybees are thriving on it. It's just honeybees that are on it at the moment. Lots and lots of them. That's a lovely butterfly that's just come in. I'm not sure what that was. So yeah, just honeybees feeding on it at the moment. Let's see if I can zoom in on that one. Feed it. Well, obviously taking stuff back to the nest. So yeah, I'm surrounded by them. And then the next plant that's doing well, the ivy. Look at the ivy. It's just, oops, hopefully you're not blinded by the sun like I am. It's just beginning to produce flowers. And we've had lots of holly blue in the garden this year, and hopefully their eggs are on the ivy. They lay eggs on holly at the beginning of the year and on the ivy towards the end of the year, and we've got plenty of ivy in the garden. It's absolutely looking gorgeous. So ivy has not struggled at all in this drought. Obviously the next one is the lavender. Not many flowers left on it now, as you can see, but still busy with bees, still enough to keep the bees happy. Going into the shade now, let's go round. There's honeybees on it, there's bumblebees on it, mainly white-tailed bumblebees, white-tailed. So yeah, it's quiet at the moment, but as the sun gets on it, it gets busier and busier. Echinops, well, they've done brilliantly. They've finished now and going over to their seed heads, but they have done brilliantly. The next plant that's coming up and loves this kind of weather, you can't really tell it's here. Here it is. This is Russian sage, I think it's called, and it replaces the lavender perfectly. As the lavender literally goes over to seed, this comes into flower and gets just as busy with bees. It's perfect timing, really. It's worth having those two together, definitely, because it's a succession of feeding stations for them. I'm not going to mention roses, we all know those are doing well, but most of my garden is looking like this. It's just not happy, and you can see these are not happy at all. That one seems happier than this one. There must be more water in that section than this section, but yeah, they're not happy, but there's nothing I can do about that. I'm not giving them any water. I'll just throw in brown water on things. I might throw some brown water on there to perhaps give it a bit of a lift. Fuchsia here, this is a little fuchsia here, look, doing absolutely fine. Oh, some of my neighbours' washing too has got blown over. The Joe Pye pant's done really well. The goldenrod has done really well too. I have been throwing brown water on this because I know it's a pollen food source, a nectar food source. So although there aren't many insects on it, more come on it at the end of the day when it's in more sunshine. Another fuchsia here that's done really well. But as we go up, we'll have a look at another plant that's done well. It's the pyrocanthus. The number of berries. I was talking to, messaging on her channel, Isabel's channel, Isabel of the Wild Welsh Garden, about the number of berries I'm spotting on plants, and the pyracantha is no exception. It's absolutely covered in berries. They're not quite ripe yet, and the one at the top isn't even starting to change colour yet. And as she pointed out, it's a panic sort of situation. These plants are under stress, and so they produce perhaps more berries because they're the seeds for, if the plant doesn't succeed. And to ensure its longevity, it produces more seed. And that's my rowan tree is looking the same. Let's have a look at the rowan tree. This is my rowan tree. It's hard to show you because I'm right underneath it. To show you how many berries are on it, but it's absolutely loaded from top to bottom. And the blackbirds absolutely adore this plant. And I've mentioned it before, they sort of start at the top and work their way down to the bottom of stripping it. And then the rest of the garden looks like that, just straw. All the plants have died in this border. Completely what you would expect. I mean, that is just how you expect to see it in late October. And it's just, in fact, it should only just have been coming into flower. So everything has flowered early and gone over very quickly. It's sad, but it's what it is. I think what I'm going to have to do is just try mulching the beds really well next year and seeing if that helps. Let's have a look at another success in the garden though. This is hawthorn. This hawthorn's in the shade, so I doubt very much it'll ever flower, but it's never watered and it's doing really fine. The idea of this, I will take the top off, can you see it's a bit tall there, is to make a bush. It's just protection for birds, and if it thickens up well enough it might be a nesting site in the future, but not troubled the hawthorn at all. Neither has it with the flowering currant. It's produced its berries, it looks really healthy, it's growing. I did cut it back after it finished flowering to reduce its height a little bit, but it's perfectly happy there. Whereas this little plant next door, right next to it, which is another hydrangea, is completely shriveled up. But this has done fine too. This is a mallow and it's just on its last couple of flowers and it's been flowering beautifully again, not been watered, just showing signs of going over now, but it's been absolutely fine all through the heat. That's two really good plants, and it's worth noting down the plants that are doing well. This is really popular with bees as well. Plant that's doing really well is the snowberry. Not a native plant obviously, but these tiny flowers are packed with nectar and are very popular with the bees and wasps and even butterflies, and it produces the white berries. I presume the birds eat the berries, I think they do. So that's done fine. Because I am pointing towards the sun, it's very early and the sun's just coming over. This is a honeysuckle. Again, it's had no problems with the drought at all. In fact, it's doing a little bit of a second flush of flowers, not many but a few, and it's been absolutely gorgeous all through the heat. Provided beautiful perfume in the garden, and is more than happy here. And another plant that's done really well and hasn't need watering, well, they're such established plants I suppose, is dog rose. It's absolutely covered in hips. Should we have a bad winter, there's plenty of hips on it, absolutely loaded. It really produced lots of beautiful flowers this year, and now it's providing us with all these hips. It's so tall, I do need to grapple with it. And the other thing that's done fine is the Guelder rose, another native plant, important early spring flowers and does provide a few berries. This one doesn't seem to berry as much as I think it possibly could, or whether things eat them before I spot them, I'm not sure, but there are some little berries on it. So yeah, they've both done really well. Holly, native plant, done really well. In fact, was covered in berries until the wood pigeons spotted them, and they've virtually stripped it of its berries. And even the raspberries, these are all the new canes for next year. They're all come up. I mean, considering there's no water in the ground, all the new canes are, 5 foot tall. They're all doing really well. There's lots of new canes for next year, so they've done fine. So are the white and red currants, whereas the mock orange at the back, if you look at the mock orange, very droopy indeed, but it's surviving, but it is very droopy. But these are as sturdy as normal. And they're underneath, they're surrounded by an apple tree that's obviously taking a lot of water too from the ground. And I think a lot of my plants do suffer because of the trees in the garden. They, suck every last bit of water out the ground. Obviously they're trees and they're big. So mine have had to contend with lack of rain, a lack of sunshine in the shadier parts, and 5 very established trees. So considering that, I still like it. I mean, look at the light there, how the light is cast on the garden. I just love it. And the robins singing, it's quiet, just the wind in the trees, a little bit of factory noise in the background. Otherwise it's quite a peaceful garden. This willow has done fine. I cut this right back, you can see where I cut it back to, but I cut it right back to the main stem because it gets too big. Here you can see on that one. That's how far I cut them all back, and so this is all this year's growth and looking fine. This will have those lovely little seed heads on, little yellow flowers next year that the bees adore in spring. Let's see if anything else has done okay up here. Well, if you need any honey and honesty seeds, just let me know. Can't believe how many there are. Obviously they're biannual, so there might not be a single one next year, but the year after I think it's going to be a forest of honesty up here. Something that's done well is the dogwood. That's a native dogwood in the background there. It's quite a substantial shrub now. You can keep these smaller if you want to, but I've let it just go. And there's plenty of berries on there, but the birds are eating those at the moment. I've been seeing the birds taking the berries off that, so they're actually using that at the moment. So that's done really well. My damson trees haven't produced any fruit again this year. They never seem to produce fruit, but they do blossom but not produce the fruit. The other pyracantha in the garden, as you can see, the berries are much smaller and just starting to get a little bit of colour, but because it's more shaded here, it takes a bit longer for these to come into fruit, which in a way is good because it's staggered. So that one down the bottom of the garden in sun gets stripped, and then there's still this food source for the birds in the winter, so that works out quite well really. They've done well too. Seeded lemon balm. Lemon balm is another Mediterranean plant, and again doesn't seem to worry at all, be affected at all, sorry, but it doesn't worry because it hasn't got that kind of emotion. Hasn't been affected at all by the drought, just continues to flower and looks very green and healthy, whereas plants surrounding it are all gone over. Although the hedge bed straw is doing okay too. Some of the native plants have done fine. There's lots of seeds to come on there, so hopefully this will spread. So that's the native hedge bed straw. The worst one is this. It's just gone to paper so quickly. Not suitable up here anyway, probably, but normally it flowers in wetter summers. And looks like the docks have done well too. They've finished now, but it hasn't affected docks at all. And of course the blackberries have done really, really well. There's so many blackberries. We've had 2 punnets of blackberries so far, and there's still more to come. I did clear a few of the nettles so we could reach them. I checked every one. I only found one spider on one, no eggs. No, nothing. You get these curled up leaves when there's usually something on them. They're a good clear sign, but I checked everyone for eggs, and as I say, I only found a spider with her eggs, and so she stayed safe. Here we are, some more of the next year's raspberry canes. Look at them, they're absolutely fine. You'd think there was no drought at all. They're finding a source of water somewhere, and they're not that deep. You know, they're not a deep-rooted plant, really, but obviously they're fine. Whereas my poor sweet pea in a pot, this is another everlasting sweet pea. It's got to go in the ground. I've got to find somewhere for it. So yeah, lots of positives out of the negatives, really. The garden looks a little bit tired, and I might do. I'm thinking of just cutting back all the crocosmias, because they've been dead for ages. They're not really providing anything. They're just making the garden look sadder than it is, I think. Some of the ferns have coped. That one. Sorry, this one here I've been throwing brown water on because that one was very droopy. It's the tongue fern. And the only things I've watered with water is newly planted. So I moved, if you remember, transplanted a lot of the asters around the garden. So because their roots aren't established, I've been watering those. I've been watering this as well because that's a new plant I've planted, and there's a new plant there that I've been watering. Otherwise, nothing else has been watered. As you can tell, it looks terrible under the apple tree, bare and sad. Although the cyclamen are coming up in the background there. Normally, there's lots of cyclamen, but that bunch seems to have survive, but there's normally cyclamen all here, but I think the drought's got to them, they haven't come up this year. And that's it really. So yeah, some plants are doing really well and still providing food for the bees and nectar for wasps and honeybees, and there's lots of fruiting going on, so lots of seeds. The seed production this year has been much higher. So that's my update on making my notes that I'm making on what's surviving a drought and what's not surviving the drought. Right, I hope to see you all soon. Take care. Bye for now. It's beginning to happen. Look at that.
It's kind of got taken on a sepia quality of the light.
Yes, you can see that on the paper. Yeah. Isn't that pretty? Even the robin's joined us for the eclipse. He's gently singing to us as we photograph through the binoculars and measure it through those. The garden's got quite a near light on it, but the camera doesn't pick it up. But just hearing the robin in the background is lovely. You're enjoying the eclipse too? There you go. It's going to go dark in a minute. Not very dark, but darkish. Be interested to see how you react. That's been a lovely end to the day, and our family are at the seaside. They managed to see it with binoculars and just shine it onto the bodyboard, so it's all been really good. My other son projected it onto his wall.